A tap, a swipe, a pinch. In less than a generation, these simple gestures have become a universal language. We connect with loved ones, create art, navigate our world, and access the sum of human knowledge, all by touching a simple sheet of glass. It's a magic we take for granted. But what is this magic? This is the story of the touchscreen. It wasn't invented by one single person, but its modern form began with an English engineer named E.A. Johnson. In the 1960s, he described a capacitive touchscreen, a concept that would lie dormant for decades. Early touch systems, like the Plato 4 computer in 1972, used bulky infrared beams. But the revolution, our revolution, is capacitive. So how does it work? In simple terms, the screen you touch isn't just glass. It's coated with a transparent, conductive layer, usually indium tin oxide, that stores an electrical charge, creating an invisible grid. Your body is also conductive. When your finger gets close, it distorts that electrical field. The screen's controller chip instantly calculates the exact coordinates of that distortion. That's the touch. It's not pressure. It's electrical science. But to build this marvel, we can't start in a lab. Our journey begins with sand. This isn't just any sand. It's high-purity quartz, which is melted down at over 1,700 degrees Celsius to create silicon dioxide glass. This molten glass is then floated on a bed of molten tin to create the perfectly flat, uniform sheets that will become the cover glass. Companies like Corning, with their Gorilla Glass, have perfected this, adding potassium ions to create a surface that is incredibly strong and scratch-resistant. The glass is the foundation, but the magic is indium tin oxide, or ITO. This is the heart of the touchscreen. Why? Because it's one of the few materials in the world that is both highly conductive and almost perfectly transparent. But it doesn't come from sand. It comes from deep within the earth. In a process called sputtering, these sheets of glass are placed in a vacuum chamber. A target made of indium tin oxide is bombarded with ions, which blasts tiny particles of ITO off the target and onto the glass. This deposits an invisibly thin, conductive film, just a few nanometers thick, in a precise, microscopic grid pattern. Now we have the layers. The next step is lamination. We have the strong outer cover glass. We have the substrate layer with its ITO grid. These must be bonded together with perfect clarity. This happens in a clean room, a place hundreds of times cleaner than a hospital operating room, because a single speck of dust could ruin the entire screen. A layer of optically clear adhesive, or OCA, is applied. The layers are pressed together in a vacuum to prevent any air bubbles. Then, they are cured with high-intensity ultraviolet light, bonding them into a single, seamless unit. The screen is almost complete, but it can't talk to the device yet. This is where the brain comes in. A thin, flexible printed circuit, or FPC, is bonded to the edge of the glass. This ribbon connects the invisible ITO grid to the final piece of the puzzle, the touchscreen controller chip. This tiny chip is the translator. It's the one that reads the electrical distortion from your finger and sends a clean XY coordinate to the device's main processor. Finally, a rigorous quality control phase. First, a small sample from the batch is taken for destructive testing. They are scratched, stressed, and impact tested to ensure the batch's durability. But every single screen that will be shipped undergoes a 100% automated non-destructive test. It's locked into a test jig. Automated machine vision cameras scan for dead pixels and color accuracy, while high-speed probes test the electrical response. Swipe, tap, and draw patterns across every coordinate, mapping the surface for any dead spot or response delay. Any screen with even one microflaw is immediately rejected. Only the perfect ones pass. But this component factory doesn't make your phone. It makes part of your phone. These finished touchscreen modules, glass, sensor, and controller chip, are now a high-value component. They are carefully packaged by the thousands into custom-fit, anti-static trays and impact-proof boxes. These pallets are shipped, not to retail stores, but to other, even larger factories. These are the assembly giants, the original equipment manufacturers, or OEMs, where your phone, tablet, or TV is actually put together. They are flown in massive cargo planes to assembly cities, where they will meet all the other components. The battery, the motherboard, the camera, and the case. The benefits of this technology are clear. It's intuitive. It has broken down barriers for communication, for art, and for accessibility. It has empowered those who cannot use a traditional keyboard or mouse. But this convenience is not without a cost. The downsides are more than just fingerprints and cracked screens. The real price is environmental. That magic ingredient, indium, is actually a critical mineral, not a rare earth, and is primarily extracted as a byproduct from zinc mining. This process is invasive and can pollute local water supplies. The manufacturing process itself is incredibly energy-intensive, consuming vast amounts of electricity 24/7. And worse, these devices are notoriously difficult to recycle. The layers are bonded so tightly that separating the valuable glass, indium, and gold from the toxic materials is a complex, expensive, and often hazardous process. So, what is the future of touch? It's becoming more immersive. Haptic feedback will allow us to feel the texture of fabric on a shopping site. Flexible screens, already in our phones, will allow devices to fold, roll, and stretch. But the true future may be no screen at all. Gesture-based controls, augmented reality, and direct neural interfaces could one day make the physical touchscreen as obsolete as the infrared beams of the PLATO4. From a grain of sand to a window on the world, from a simple electrical disturbance to a gateway to the digital universe, the story of touch is the story of our desire to connect directly, intuitively, and magically with the world we have created, and that story is still being written.